Welcome friends, I welcome each one of you in this circular series. Today we are recording fourth video wherein we'll be discussing circular number 16 to circular number 20. I hope the circular series you are listening and you are finding it useful. Now let us begin the discussion on the circular series number 4 and the circular number 16. So circular number 16 is dated 15th November 2017, and the clarifications which is given or which are given in this circular pertains to the applicability of GST as well as the availability of input tax credit in respect of certain services. So friends, first question that was being asked and which was addressed by the board is whether the GST is applicable on the warehousing, whether GST is applicable on warehousing of agricultural produce like tea, which is black tea, white tea, processed coffee beans, powder, pulses, jaggery, processed spices, processed dry fruits, etc. And the comment which was given was that GST has notification number 11/2017 which provides for the rate of taxes, and notification number 12/2017 which provides for the exemptions. Serial number 24 of notification number 11/2017 and serial number 54 of notification number 12/2017 pertaining to exemptions provide for the GST rate on loading, unloading, packing, storage, or warehousing of the agricultural produce. Now, the agricultural produce has been defined in this particular notification. Now, when I say it is defined, it has been defined in a particular manner, and in the nutshell, what I can let you know is that the produces on which there is no further processing done, only those produces will be regarded as the agricultural produce for the purpose of exemption notification. And since it has been defined clearly in paragraph number 2 by the board, the further clarifications has been given in case of tea also, that tea which is used for making the beverage such as black tea, green tea, white tea, etc. is a processed tea, and the exemption which is available is only for the tea which is not a processed tea, and therefore the green tea leaves are considered for exemption but not the tea. And they have clarified that the tea or the coffee is not eligible for exemption for loading, unloading, packing, storage, or warehousing of the agricultural produce. One. Secondly, the sugar cane into being processed and then it is converted into jaggery. And therefore, the jaggery is also after they produce, and therefore it comes out of the definition of agricultural produce, and it is also not exempted. Similarly, pulses, which is commonly known as dal, that also are obtained after the dehusking or splitting or both, and therefore the process is involved there, and wherever the process will be involved, it will not be treated as agricultural produce, and it will come out of the definition of agricultural produce and will become taxable. The exemption notification will not apply. And therefore, in point number 7, they have clarified that in view of the above, it is hereby clarified that processed products such as tea, processed coffee beans, powder, pulses, jaggery, processed spices, processed dry fruits, processed cashew nuts, etc., fall outside the definition of agricultural produce given in notification number 11/2017 and 12/2017, and corresponding notifications issued under IGST and UTGST Act, and therefore the exemptions from GST is not available to their loading, packing, warehousing, etc., and that any clarification issued in the past in this context of service tax or VAT is no more relevant. So friends, उन्होंने बहुत ही क्लियरली इस चीज को कह दिया है कि अगर प्रोसेसिंग कोई भी आपने एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोड्यूस पे किया है तो उस पर जो एग्जेम्पशन है 11/2017 और 12/2017 वो एप्लीकेबल नहीं रहेगा और वो एक टैक्सेबल प्रोडक्ट होगा जीएसटी में. And this clarification is by virtue of circular number 16/2017 dated uh, uh, 15th November 2017. Second question which has been raised in this particular circular is whether the GST is applicable on interstate transfer of aircraft engines, where the GST is applicable on interstate transfer of aircraft engines, parts and accessories for their use by their own airlines, meaning thereby एक ब्रांच से दूसरी ब्रांच में interstate transfers हो रहे हैं एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन या उसके पार्ट्स के. तो फर्स्ट रेफरेंस which has been given as a comment is Schedule 1. Schedule 1 says कि जब भी related party के बीच में कोई transfers है या distinct persons के बीच में कोई transfer है section 25 के हिसाब से, so even if it is without consideration, it will be regarded as supply and therefore it will attract the GST. Further, it is clarified that credit of GST paid on aircraft engine part and accessories will be available for the discharging GST on interstate supply of such aircraft engines, parts and accessories by way of interstate stock transfers, including distinct persons as specified in section 25 of the CGST. And this is notwithstanding that credit of input tax charge on consumption of such goods is not allowed. It says that consumption of such goods is not allowed for supply of service of transportation of passengers by air in economy class at the rate of 5%. So in that case it is blocked, and rest of the cases the credit will be allowed to you. So जनरल उन्होंने क्लैरिफाई किया कि यस, इंजन पार्ट्स अगर आप यूज करते हैं या एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सप्लाई करते हैं या एक्सेसरी सप्लाई करते हैं तो उसके ऊपर जो भी क्रेडिट है वो क्रेडिट आप यूज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जो क्रेडिट इनपुट टैक्स जो चार्ज किया है कंजम्पशन पे, वो क्रेडिट्स को आप चार्ज नहीं कर सकते, वो क्रेडिट्स आपके लिए अवेलेबल नहीं होगी जो यूज की जा रही है या कंज्यूम की जा रही है सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस फॉर transportation of passengers by air in economy class. Moving further, third question which has been raised is GST leviable on general insurance policy provided by a state government to employees of the state government, police personnels, employees of electricity department, or student of colleges, private schools, etc., where the premium is paid by the state government and where the premium is paid by the employees. So again, it's upfront very clear, 17.5 में बोला भी है. So it says, it is clarified that services provided to the central government, state government, union territory under any insurance scheme for which total premium is paid by central government, state government or union territory are exempt. Serial number 40 of 12 of 2017. तो serial number 4040 और notification 12/2017 के हिसाब से वो exempt रहेगा, लेकिन services provided by state government by way of general insurance to employees of the state government, police personnel, employees, electricity department or students are exempt via entry number 6 of 12/2017, which exempts services by central government, state government, union territory or local authority to the individuals. So in both the cases, पहला केस था जहाँ पे कोई भी सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड की जा रही है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, यूनियन टेरिटरी को, कोई भी इंश्योरेंस स्कीम में जहाँ पे टोटल प्रीमियम सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट या यूनियन टेरिटरी पेमेंट कर रही है वहाँ पे एग्जाम्प्ट है सीरियल नंबर 40 में, और जहाँ पे किसी इंडिविजुअल को दी जा रही है दैट इज एग्जाम्प्ट इन सीरियल नंबर 6 of notification number 12/2017. And these were the three questions which were raised in circular number 16/2017 and which has been clarified by the board on 15th November 2017. Moving further, the circular number 17, which speaks about the manual processing of refund claims in respect of zero rated supplies. Friends, we all are aware कि जब GST शुरू में आया था तो there were lot of issues for processing of refunds in case of exporters. तो वो इश्यूज आने की वजह से, चाहे वो इश्यूज इसलिए आ रहा था क्योंकि जो उनका कस्टम्स का जो पोर्टल था उसके ऊपर मैच नहीं हो रहे थे डिटेल्स, आपके जो शिपिंग बिल्स है वो मैच नहीं हो रही थी, या फिर प्रॉपरली रिकॉर्ड मेंटेन नहीं था. ऑल दीज इश्यूज वर देयर एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट द रिफंड वाज गेटिंग स्टक्ड. तो फिर इन्होंने इसको मैनुअली अलाउ किया, और वो मैनुअली कैसे अलाउ हुआ उसके लिए इन्होंने एक सर्कुलर ये इशू किया विच इज डेटेड 15 नवंबर अगेन, कि मैनुअल प्रोसेसिंग और फाइलिंग कैसे होगा. आप रिफंड भी मैनुअली फाइल करिए और प्रोसेस भी वो मैनुअली हो जाएगा और आपको रिफंड मिलेगा. बिकॉज एट द इनिशियल स्टेजेस इवन द सिस्टम वाज नॉट सपोर्टिंग एंड द लिंक्स वर नॉट देयर, कि आपका जो आइस गेट का पोर्टल है और जो GST का पोर्टल है उसके अंदर और शिपिंग बिल्स वगैरह भी रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं हो रहे थे, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज वर देयर. सो दे हैव केम आउट विद दिस कि यू कैन फाइल द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ फॉर रिफंड मैनुअली एंड देयरफॉर टेक द रिफंड मैनुअली. नो फ्रेंड्स, पैरा 2.2 बोलता है कि इंटीग्रेटेड टैक्स जो गुड्स इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट आपने किए हैं रूल 96 के हिसाब से गवर्न होता है. इट इज गवर्न बाय रूल नंबर 96 ऑफ द CGST रूल्स. शिपिंग बिल विच इज फाइल्ड बाय एक्सपोर्टर शैल बी डीम्ड टू बी एन एप्लीकेशन फॉर रिफंड इन सच केसेस. जो भी शिपिंग बिल एज सून एज इट इज फाइल्ड इट विल बी डीम्ड टू बी एप्लीकेशन फॉर रिफंड, and the application shall be deemed to be have been filed ओनली व्हेन द एक्सपोर्ट मैनिफेस्ट और जनरल जो एक्सपोर्ट रिपोर्ट है वो फाइल हो जाए एंड द एप्लीकेंट हैज फाइल्ड अ वैलिड रिटर्न which is GSTR 3 or GSTR 3B as the case may be. So if this is happening, then the shipping bill per se or shipping bill will be treated as the document or application for refund. Now as soon as the information is received for GSTR 3 and 3B from the common portal, the system which is designed by customs shall process the claim of refund or amount of which is equal to the integrated tax paid in respect of such export shall be electronically credited to the bank account of the applicant. That was the process. Further, it says any order which was regarding the withholding of refund or its further sanction respectively in Part A of GST RFD 07 or RFD 06 shall be done manually till the refund module is operational on the common portal. So अगर कोई withholding करनी है उसके sanction तक तो वो पूरा प्रोसेस जो है RFD 07 और 06 का वो पूरा प्रोसेस मैनुअली होगा जब तक कि रिफंड मॉड्यूल पूरी तरीके से ऑपरेशनल ना हो जाए. 2.3 में they are saying the application for refund of IGST paid on zero rated supplies to SCZ or SCZ developer or in case of zero rated supply of services is required to be filed in RFD 01A. So RFD 01 is the normal form, is the actual form, and RFD 01 is the form which have been notified by virtue of notification number 55/2017 on 15th November 2017, wherein it can be filed manually. And it has to be filed by the supplier on the common portal, and a printout of the said form shall be submitted before the jurisdictional proper officer along with the necessary documentary evidences as applicable. And it has to be filed within the time stipulated for refund under the GST Act. Now 2.54 says the application for refund of unutilized input tax credit, that is, or the input services used in making zero rated supply shall be filed by RFD 01A on the common portal, and the amount claimed as refund shall be debited in accordance with Rule 86 Sub Rule 3. तो जो भी आपका अनयूटिलाइज इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट रह गया इनपुट्स पे इनपुट सर्विसेज पे वो भी आप फाइल कर सकते हैं RFD 01 में 01A में कॉमन पोर्टल पे, और जो अमाउंट क्लेम किया जाएगा रिफंड का वो आपके एक्यूमुलेटेड क्रेडिट में से डेबिट हो जाएगा रूल 86 सब रूल 3 के हिसाब से. The common portal जनरेट करेगा एक proof of debit which would be mentioned in form RFD 01A which is submitted manually along with the printout of GST RFD 01A to the jurisdictional proper officer with all the necessary documentary evidences. सारे documentary तो तीनों चीजों को भाई कवर कर दिया है. आपकी जीरो रेटेड सप्लाईज जहाँ पे इंटीग्रेटेड टैक्स का पेमेंट हुआ रूल 96 पिक्चर में आया और शिपिंग बिल का आया. दूसरा जहाँ पे आप SCZ और SCZ डेवलपर को देते हैं या फिर जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज में इन्वॉल्व है. तीसरा जहाँ पे आप अनयूटिलाइज इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट को रिफंड लेना चाह रहे हैं या इनपुट का या इनपुट सर्विसेज का जहाँ जीरो रेटेड सप्लाईज में यूज किए गए हैं. ये तीनों चीजें यहाँ पे इन्होंने कवर की. और 2.5 में फिर बोल रहे हैं कि जो रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन है ही नीड्स टू फाइल अ रिफंड क्लेम विद द जुरिसडिक्शनल टैक्स अथॉरिटी टू विच द टैक्स पेयर हैज बीन असाइंड. तो जिसने जैसे असाइनमेंट हुआ है सेंटर में या स्टेट में, तो जिसके पास भी आप असाइंड हो उसको फाइल करना है as per the administrative order which is issued in this regards by the chief commissioner and the commissioner of state tax. तो सेंट्रल टैक्स के चीफ कमिश्नर ने इशू किया हुआ है इसमें एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑर्डर, और कमिश्नर ऑफ स्टेट टैक्स ने इशू किया हुआ है इन केस ऑफ स्टेट, अगर आपका जुरिसडिक्शन स्टेट है. फर्दर बोल रहा है कि अगर इफ एन ऑर्डर हैज नॉट बीन इशूड इन द स्टेट द रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन इज एट लिबर्टी टू अप्लाई फॉर रिफंड बिफोर द सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी. ये कल भी हमने देखा था जहाँ पे बॉन्ड्स की और उसकी बात हुई थी, बॉन्ड्स और एलिटी की. वहाँ सेम प्रोसेस है कि अगर ये स्टेट का कोई भी ऑर्डर नहीं है तो आप सेंट्रल में आप लिबर्टी है कि आप सेंट्रल में या स्टेट में जहाँ पे भी आपकी इच्छा हो फॉर द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव टिल द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मैकेनिज्म इज सेटल्ड यू कैन अप्लाई देयर. एंड जब आप लेटर केस में है तो एक अंडरटेकिंग रिक्वायर्ड होगी. एन अंडरटेकिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी सबमिटेड stating that the claim for sanction of refund has been made to only one of the authorities. So this will be a declaration that has to be made कि आपने एक ही अथॉरिटी पे ये एप्लीकेशन किया है. एंड इट इज रीइटरेटेड दैट सेंट्रल टैक्स ऑफिसर शैल facilitate the processing of refund claims to all registered person whether or not such person was registered with the central government in the earlier regime. So it is clear कि सेंट्रल टैक्स ऑफिसर सबको फैसिलिटेट करेंगे चाहे वो पहले उनके साथ रजिस्टर्ड था या नहीं था. एक बार आपका RFD 01A में एप्लीकेशन मिलता है रिफंड का जुरिसडिक्शनल ऑफिसर के पास, तो उसकी एक एंट्री की जाएगी रिफंड रजिस्टर में, टू बी मेंटेन फॉर दिस पर्पस विद द फॉलोइंग डिटेल्स. सो these details will be, as it is a circular is always binding on the departmental officer. So they are clarifying what will be the process, and they are saying as soon as I will be filing, or as soon as the taxpayer will file RFD 01A, they will maintain a refund register in this format. And for all the communications in regards to the form which is mentioned below, it has to be done manually within the timelines as is specified in the relevant rules till the module is operational on the common portal. जब तक common portal पे पूरा मॉड्यूल काम नहीं करेगा रिफंड का, तब तक ये जितने भी नीचे फॉर्म्स है, एक्नॉलेजमेंट, डेफिशिएंसी मेमो, प्रोविजनल रिफंड ऑर्डर, पेमेंट एडवाइस, रिफंड सैंक्शन, रिजेक्शन ऑर्डर, order for complete adjustment, withholding of the refund, notice for rejection of the application, and the show cause notice, everything will have to be submitted manually, or it has to be aligned manually. Then further it says the processing of the claim to the provisional sanction of refund shall be recorded in refund register in the table indicated below. This is the table number 2 which has been given to the officers. They will have to maintain it. We are not concerned, so I'm not going into detail of that. Once it is sanctioned, once the provisional refund is sanctioned, then the claim shall be processed and the final order shall be issued within 60 days of the receipt of the complete application form. Once you receive the complete application form, you can give the final sanction within 60 days of the date of receipt of that complete form. Further, it says once the refund claim is processed in accordance with the provisions of CGST Act and the rules made thereunder, where any amount of refund is rejected under Rule 92, चाहे वो partly reject हो या fully reject हो, तो जो amount debit हुआ था, the amount which was debited to the extent of rejection shall be recredited to the electronic credit ledger by an order which is PMT03. It will again get credited into the CGST, this electronic credit ledger. Amount would be credited by proper officer using RFD 01B. This will be the form which will be used for the purpose of crediting of the amount. तो पहले आपका डेबिट हुआ PMT 03 से, now it will be recredited to your electronic credit ledger by this form, that is RFD 01B, which has been notified by 55/2000 notification 15th November 2017, and it has to be subject to the provisions of Rule 93 of the CGST rules. Then further, for the sake and clarity and uniformity, the entire process of filing and processing refund manually is tabulated below. तो अभी तक तो उन्होंने पूरा एक बताया कि कैसे करोगे, कौन सा फॉर्म यूज होगा, what kind of exception they are providing. Now they are giving the refund claims के लिए जो पूरा प्रोसेस है वो रखेंगे. तो पहला, refund of IGST paid on export of goods. तो कोई सेपरेट एप्लीकेशन करना नहीं है, शिपिंग बिल विल बी रिफंड एप्लीकेशन. रिफंड ऑफ IGST पेड ऑन एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज, तो RFD 01A में जैसे हमने पहले देखा ऊपर, वो आपको अपने जुरिसडिक्शनल ऑफिसर के पास फाइल करना पड़ेगा अलॉन्ग विद द नेसेसरी एविडेंसेस. रिफंड ऑफ अनयूटिलाइज्ड इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट ड्यू टू द accumulation of credit of tax paid on input services used in zero rated supplies, अगेन RFD 01 उसको आपको फाइल करना पड़ेगा और अपने जुरिसडिक्शनल ऑफिसर के पास प्रिंट आउट लेके सब डॉक्यूमेंट्स के साथ जमा करना पड़ेगा. Now, these are the steps which the department will have to follow for the purpose of processing of refunds. 3 different रजिस्टर उनको रिकमेंड किए गए जो आपने ऊपर देखे थे, टेबल 1, टेबल 2, टेबल 3. 3 different registers are prescribed for the purpose of maintenance of record keeping. पहला receipts, दूसरा sanction of provisional refund and तीसरा sanction of final refund. This have to be maintained. Step 1, refund register में आप एंट्री करिए जैसे आपको रिफंड एप्लीकेशन मिले. स्टेप 2, आप कंप्लीटनेस देखिए एप्लीकेशन की और सपोर्टिंग डॉक्यूमेंट देखिए वो सब है या नहीं है. एक बार सब कुछ कंप्लीट है तो एक्नॉलेजमेंट दीजिए RFD 02 में, एंड 15 दिन के अंदर वो एक्नॉलेजमेंट आपको देना है और उसकी एंट्री रिफंड रजिस्टर में करनी है. स्टेप 3, सारे कम्युनिकेशन चाहे वो डेफिशिएंसी मेमो हो या प्रोविजनल और फाइनल रिफंड ऑर्डर्स है, वो सारे फॉर्मेट जो प्रेस्क्राइब्ड हैं CGST रूल्स के अंदर जो फॉर्मेट्स हैं उसी फॉर्मेट में होगा और वो मैनुअली होगा जब तक कि, और विद इन द टाइमलाइंस होगा जब तक कि पूरा सिस्टम ऑनलाइन सिस्टम प्लेस पे नहीं आ जाता. फिर प्रोविजनल रिफंड 7 दिन के अंदर कंप्लीट करना है आपको और उसकी डिटेल्स जो आपको प्रोविजनल रिफंड की पूरी आपको मेंटेन करनी है. एंड द बाइफिकेशन ऑफ द टैक्सेस शुड बी रिफंडेड अंडर CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST, which shall be maintained in the register mandatorily. Once the sanction of the provisional refund is done, final order is to be issued within 60 days of the receipt of the complete application form. That again is the process. और एक बार अमाउंट अगर सैंक्शन नहीं होता तो जो भी अमाउंट डेबिट हुआ था वो वापस रिक्रेडिट हो जाएगा और आपको इशू करना पड़ेगा RFD 01B. So this is the process for refund. Now मैनुअली प्रोसेस वो कैसे करेंगे वो एक इन्होंने डिटेल प्रोसीजर दिया हुआ है. पहला उसमें स्टेप है फाइलिंग ऑफ रिफंड एप्लीकेशन RFD 01A ऑनलाइन ऑफ द कॉमन पोर्टल। तो जो कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर है उसको डेबिट हो जाएगा और एक ARN इशू हो जाएगा, लीगल प्रोविजन रूल 89। देन प्रिंट आउट RFD 01A का लेके आपको सबमिट करना है ऑफिसर के पास, अपने जुरिस्डिक्शनल ऑफिसर के पास, along with the necessary documents. So that will be again 89.1 application, 89.2 requisite documents, 89.3 which is debiting in the electronic credit ledger. फिर पहला स्क्रूटनी करेगा ऑफिसर, उसमें देखेगा 3 और 3 भी भरा है कि नहीं, एक्सपोर्ट जनरल मैनिफेस्ट वगैरह आ गया है कि नहीं आ गया, एंड once he is satisfied within for 15 days he will do the scrutiny and he will issue a deficiency memo. देन फ्रेश रिफंड एप्लीकेशन अगर रिक्वायरमेंट है तो उसके लिए रूल 90 एग्जीक्यूट करेगा और रिक्रेडिट कर देगा वो रिफंड अमाउंट जो उसने अप्लाई किया उसको वापस से, अगर वो इनकम्प्लीट है या लायबल फॉर रिजेक्शन है। सो दिस इज द प्रोसेस विच हैज बीन गिवन हेयर, और प्रोविजनल रिफंड 7 दिन के अंदर वो इशू कर देगा। ये सारे रूल्स दिए हुए हैं उन्होंने, तो रूल्स आई एम नॉट सपोज टू लाइक कवर हेयर, विल बी कवरिंग इन द रूल सीरीज एज वेल एज इन द वेब सीरीज, webinar series of the section analysis and the rule analysis. So detailed scrutiny करेगा refund application की, once he is satisfied then he will issue the final sanction, and then the entire thing will close. So friends, this is the process which has been defined in the circular which the government and the government officers are bound to follow so far as processing of refund is concerned. So that is circular number 17/2017 dated 15th November 2017. Friends, moving to next circular which is 18/2017 dated 16th November 2017. In this, they are clarifying the refund of unutilized input tax credit paid on inputs in respect of exporters of fabrics. So the doubt which was raised was regarding the restriction of refund of unutilized input tax credit of GST paid on input of manufacturer exporter of fabrics, which were falling in chapter 50 to 55, 60, 5608, 5801, 5806 under GST. Now that was the doubt which was raised. So this matter has been examined and therefore they are clarifying 54.3. Now 54.3 they have first mentioned, and then they are saying based on the recommendation of the council, there is a notification which is 5/2017 which blocks the refund, which is restricting the refund of unutilized input tax credit of GST paid on input in respect of certain specified goods, which includes input tax credit of GST paid on inputs. So this is blocking that credit. However, the aforesaid notification having issued under clause 2 of subsection 3 of section 54 restrict on refund of unutilized input tax credit of GST on inputs will not be applicable to zero rated, because that notification of unutilized is for inverted duty and within the domestic area. It is not applicable for zero rated supplies, that is export of goods or services or both, or supply of goods or services to SEZ or SEZ developer. Therefore, it has been clarified that export of fabrics subject to provisions of subsection 10 of section 54, manufacturer of such fabrics will be eligible for refund of unutilized input tax credit of GST on inputs in respect of fabrics manufactured and exported by him. तो ये बहुत clearly उन्होंने लिख दिया कि 54(3) में जो 5/2017 से जो उन्होंने ब्लॉक किया था रिफंड को, that is only applicable in case of supplies within India, but in case of export that is not applicable, and hence the refund will be provided. Next is 19/2017, 20th November 2017 को ये था, and it is simply on clarification on taxability of custom milling of paddy. So they say representation have been received seeking clarification on whether custom milling of paddy by rice millers for Civil Supplies Corporation is liable to GST or is exempted under serial number 55 of notification number 12/2017. So now they are clarifying that the matter has been examined, and they say that serial number 55 of 12/2017 is exempting carrying out an intermediate production process as job work in relation to cultivation of plant and rearing of all life forms of animals except the rearing of horses for food, fiber, fuel, raw material or other similar products or agricultural produce. Agricultural produce has been defined in the notification to mean So again, they have reproduced this, which is defined in 11 and 12/2017, which said कि भाई दोबारा अगर उस पर कोई भी प्रोसेस हो रहा है तो that will not be agricultural produce. So job work has been defined in 2 clause 68 of CGST, which says any treatment or process undertaken by a person on goods belonging to another. So under Schedule 2, any treatment or process is covered as a supply of service. So milling of paddy is not an intermediate process. This is what they are explaining in relation to cultivation of plants. It is a process which is carrying out after the process of cultivation is over and paddy has been harvested. So this is a process which is after the cultivation is over and the paddy is already harvested. Further processing of paddy into rice is not usually carried out by the cultivators, but by the rice millers. So this is not done by cultivators, but by the rice millers. And therefore, milling of paddy into rice also changes its essential characteristic. Therefore, milling of paddy into rice cannot be considered as an intermediate production process in relation to cultivation of plant for food, fiber, or other similar products or agricultural produce. And therefore, it is clarified that milling of paddy into rice is not eligible for exemption under serial number 55 of 12/2017 and corresponding notifications of IGST and UTGST. So far as GST rate of services by way of job work in relation to food and food products is concerned, Chapter 1 to 22 has been reduced from 18% to 5% by notification number 31/2017. Therefore, it is clarified that milling of paddy into rice on job work basis is liable for GST at the rate of 5% on the processing charges. So this has been clarified further कि वो exempt नहीं है, 5% में cover होगा. Now the last circular which we are supposed to cover in this video is 20/2017, 22nd dated 22nd November 2017. It is seeking the classification and GST rate for terracotta idols. So they simply say that the GST rate on idols which is made out of clay is nil. Serial number 135A of 2/2017. So in this connection, the references have been received as to whether this entry would cover the idols made of terracotta. The matter has been examined. Terracotta is a clay-based, and therefore terracotta idols will be eligible for nil rate under the same serial number, that is 135A. Maybe is leviable on repairs. Maybe the GST is leviable on reports done for such goods. So therefore, it will be exempt. The issue is now clear that GST rate on terracotta idols is also exempt and not accessible to the GST. Friends, in this video we have tried to cover the circular number 16 to circular number 20, and I'm really thankful to each one of you for the patience hearing. We'll be coming out with the next video on circular number 21 to circular number 25. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much.